Okay, let's get started. What is design system? Okay, design system is a building block. They have a
Discarded.
yeah, guiding, right? The rules and the UI pattern. You can see in here, what's the building blocks? You can see the editorial guidelines. You create the Bible, basically. What's the Bible in this project that you want to build? You know, what's the colors? What's the color scheme? What's the grid? What's the icon that we use throughout the whole company, throughout the whole project? And then the UI pattern. What's a template about it? You know, you can create a template that's already being built out. For example, homepage template or PDP like property template. Sorry, that is Expedia term PDP, but that's a property detail pick template and so on. Modules, components, elements. You are creating those in design systems, and especially the rules. When you create a project, you gotta have rules so everything look consistent. You need to have the guidelines. What's the distance between this component to that component, and you gotta stick with it. So that's basically what you will create in design system. So to easy to understand, design system is a Lego. So you can create a lot of, like you have these pieces of Lego pieces. You can create koala, Star Wars hat, cars, Taj Mahal, anything. But the Lego is your design system, that building block. And that is what we will create today. This piece, if you want to know what it is. So that piece is what we will create today, basically. So what I want you guys to do is, number one, click on the top over here. And I've been creating for you all of the assets. So you can edit that in your duplicate version. So watch along, follow this, okay? So first thing first, icons. I have all of these icons, right? This is all the icons that are available for you to be using, to play around with. What we will be doing today is creating this. Kind of semi look like Instagram posts, but it's not really. What we will do today, we will create this, everything here, and every component here is already being provided on the design system template already built in here. So icon is self-explanatory. Icon is this part over here. You have so many options, right? If you are a junior, I'm probably in the school, you guys just doing like this. You just drop in, drop out, and that's it. This is okay for you to learn, but push it that boundary. Get out of that boundary, you know, get better. I can teach you guys how to do this one so you can maintain it later on easier. Okay, so let's start with the icon. First thing first, we'll get here, get icon home, icon search, reel, and so on. You're gonna create a component out of it. So easy way, just create that diamond button one by one, one by one. By the way, if you are in my file, you cannot do this because you only see the view mode, but that's why I'm saying to you to do duplicate. So you will have that duplicate version. And please, whoever block it, not blocking it. And easier way to do it, they have a drop down here, say create multiple component. Say good? All right, next thing that you guys gonna do, you can't do that, Janet. You gotta use your duplicate version. You cannot use it in my file. So like that. All right. So you have all of this component already. So after that, you're going to create a variance. What variants do, instead you have many different, icons. By the way, if in here, icons, you have a lot, right? And this can be confusing what it is, if you have like 100 variant or like 1000 variant, 1000 of component of icons, it's gonna be like drop down, it's gonna be painful to see. So what you can do is you create a variance, combine as variance, and now you only have one. So where they go? So if you drag one of this out, copy this home, right? You see this one, I have property, and you have all of this. See that, right? Great, great. Following along so far? All right. So next, this is different between company and company. Usually in Expedia or in Citibank, we use a spacing left or right to determine what's distance between component A, component B. So this is your spacer. Okay, so same thing again, you're going to create multiple component and you're going to combine it as a variant. Easy to do. Don't forget naming things, left, right, spacing. Okay, same thing. And same thing with this stuff. Oh, that is not, what's the button for? All right, as variant, top. All right, so now typography. So if you have project file on Figma, you can basically infuse this typography and you can changing it in your text style, right? I hope anyone have done this one before. You can just create like that and you have this new typography and so on, and you can just choose it on the site as so, like this one, right? But if you do not have the same project per se, you're going to create it as a component. This is another way to do it. Create this as a component. So you got that. So what you need to do next is just creating combined variant to it. Make this one as a heading. By the way, you gotta, because we don't have a lot of time to change this one, but this one is like, maybe you can just say size of heading. This is just to tell you, to tell the next designer what it is. It's the size of the padding. So size of 8, 24, 20, 16, 12, and so on. And they have, in here we use for spacing. Yeah, I'll get that in a minute. Paragraph, doing the same thing. Basically some repetition action that you guys gonna do in here. Okay. Image. So in here, let me give you a little bit idea. Fill is it filling entire frame. 16 to 9 is just the image dimension of it, the 16 to 9. 29 to 9 is same thing, the ratio, image ratio of it. 1 to 1, is the same ratio of it. So that's the only difference between all of these three. So you guys confused, that is what the difference between it. And say image. This one, user, just making it like that, easy. All right, so let's build this thing. Any questions so far? First thing first, let's create a Stewie hat over here. By the way, if you guys do not know me, I'm in love with Family Guy, and this is the reason why I have Family Guy as an example there. Corey is laughing. Corey knows about this. So thing first, you can see here the dimension is 12, 24, 12, 12, right? So what, Evan, what do I do in here? Like, why is kind of different, right? It's kind of like the padding here is 12, 12, 24. How can we create that? I'll get to it. But first thing first, if you can see this, like, this is what it is. It is a heading, right? This is a paragraph. Okay, so let's create a paragraph and heading. Maybe heading 24 and paragraph 1. All right, so what's the distance between these two? It's 8. All right, it's 8. Let's find the spacing top and bottom because it's like we want to diagonally changing it. So this one, 8, right? And let's combine this. So I will teaching you guys auto layout. And this is kind of important because Figma is now advanced enough and you should know about this. You block all of this, right? You want to auto layout it. To do auto layout, just double like that and Shift A. and you have this auto layout. Make sure that it's 0. So you have 8 spacing. We create the heading here before. I forgot to teach you guys to make this one as auto layout first. So to fix that, just Shift A on that padding. Can see the hug there is mean the auto layout is already working. Get into your heading 20 typography. Make sure this is a fill. Let me repeat again. Shift A, right? Get into your heading typography layer and a fill. Same thing, doing the same thing again. A lot of this repetition action, but later on when you want to change something next year or something like that, will be easier. Paragraph 1, same thing. You gotta make this auto layout because you do not want repetitive, like you don't want to make yourself work harder. Okay, all right. Continue building up this TUI user 1. Okay, so just name it Stewie. Okay, all right. So what's the problem here again? The user are too big. This is called user 500 in there, but the typography is too big. So you're gonna click on that, changing it. See that? You see what just happened? You're going to find the correct one. So I think it's on 12. Stewie. Yeah. All right, same thing happened in here. Okay, paragraph 1 is a bit too big, maybe making it a little bit bigger, like smaller. That's a bit still too big. Yeah, okay, here. So per se that later on, down the road, your company want to change this to paragraph 2. Pretty easy, right? Just need to click on that and you already have it. You just need to change the typography and you'll be good. See? Got it? This is the reason why we're building things on top of the variant. The spacer, why we're doing the spacer instead of the auto layout like that. The reason being is that if I want to change this, its spacing is no more, Evan. The lowest value is 12, for example. So again, same thing, right? Like I teach you guys before, no more. So cool, if no more. Let's make this one as a 12. And now this thing is a 12. You see what I mean? This is what the design system could do for your project. For the next version, you will not need to work harder. You just need to update one thing, everything. All right, so let's just build this thing again. So let's see what is in here. 32, sure. I just built 32. So 32 is left and right. So I'm gonna find my left and right spacing, find my 32 if I have one. All right. So I just build that one. Boom. Done. Make sure this is 0. And you got it. You see this, right? Yeah, you don't want this color look ugly, of course, but it's a guidance for you. So in the end of the day, you just need to just make this one invisible and you should be good to go. Good. So far following me along? Question? All right. So here they have a spacing 24, 12, 12. Okay. All right. So to build that, it's called padding in auto layout. They have this padding and alignment and padding.
One question I was going to ask is, do you use just the baseline grid or do you use like the column spacing as well for some of your designs?
I use a baseline grid.
Okay.
But in here, I'm not using the baseline grid just yet, just because again, guys, it was last week topic. I just want to cover up how to use design system in here. Does that make sense, Tyler? Sorry if I do not cover the grid just yet. All right, so everyone good? Okay, so top 24, and here is 24. You see that one, right? You guys see what I'm just saying? I'm just doing. I'm creating the padding for this 2D picture over here. Yeah. All right. So now let's get the image. So image, I may use this one. What is the fill does? Anyone can answer for me? What fill does? What does fill does?
Fill actually crops the image and fills, I mean, it keeps the image inside the container, the frame that we have,
Exactly.
and it can, yeah.
Exactly. That's correct. So fill is actually filling the entire container until I get it suited. While the 16 to 9 supposed to be like that. I forgot to lock it down. So if you go here, okay, it's supposed to be doing this. Make sense? So see, all right. All right, see you, Wick. Thank you. Thank you for coming. And then here, let's just create this really quickly. You need 48, 48. Okay, 48, 48 for all. Let's create an icon. I don't really want to create too much, so create that. And then 48. By the way, you can just go in here, say spacing, and then you get that spacing. You see that, right? And then you can get an icon, and you get another icon there. All right. But what I'm doing is just I'm just dragging in. So create that, make sure it is a 0. Okay. All right, so what I'm doing here, I'm just like copying paste. How many icons do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So should be the same. So 4. Now, yeah, zigzag it. Okay, I need that to the left, to the left, to the left. Oh, that's too much. Should just need 3. All right, so we got all the icon. Great. So we got all the icon, but the icon are different. So I think it's, what is that? Is that search? All right. Media, I guess that one. What was that? Oh, let me see the name. Reels. Reels. And shop. Shop. All right, so I got this. Okay. Anyone have any question so far? Oh no? Good. All right. So Evan, why it is like 24, right? You need 48, right? Do you need 48? Yeah, you need 48. Yeah, so it should be good. So in the case that, hey, I need more spacing, but you don't have enough spacing. 48 time 48. No, you can just do it like that. So you have more spacing. This is not traditionally what you are doing, but if your design system lead say, yeah, we cannot pass that spacing, but you allowed to use that up to that, but we don't have design system just yet. That's one thing that you can do. All right, so another thing that you can do, okay, so this is just a fill, yeah. So we just create a fill. Create that as a auto layout. Okay, you can just filling it like that. It's totally just fine. I don't want it to look so, all right. So pretty good, I guess, for the really quick tutorial. Okay, make it a 0. Pretty similar. Just need to copy the image. Okay, image. There you go. Well, maybe some adjustment a little bit. It's a bit ugly. There you go, guys. So design system here. This is a mini design system that I have in here. If you guys want to see the finished product of what I'm doing, I have in here, finished product. You can actually see what am I doing and then how I'm creating it. But the importance of design system, so everything is consistent. That's the basic and the basic using of the design system. Every single component here consistent of what you guys using it for. And then, yeah, another thing a part of the design system is a grid, and you have to create a grid. You know, I think it was like last I think last week, May was talking about grid. May was talking about how to, how to create pattern grid in your design. So you have this, right? You use maybe like the 8, and you can make this one in your library. Yeah. And then maybe that's a grid of it. Maybe you need a column grid. So now let's try to create the column grid. For those of you who are not here last week, this is how May was doing it. So using, I think this one is, let's just say 16. It's a bit jarring, but okay, 8. And then you are adding it to the grid. So 8. Now, when you're creating a new frame, for example, right? This is what Taylor was saying. Wait, Evan, where is the grid, right? What's the grid? So this is how you're gonna get it. So you got grid there, right? And you can also have your grid 8 to see, or you can combine those. They're also okay. Also, you can also do that. So combine it like this. Sounds good? Yeah. Any more question? In the very, very beginning of the project, literally, hey, I have this idea, right? So for example, you're building this Instagram post, you put it in your low fidelity. Okay, so what do I need in here? Oh, I probably need the user, the typography. So let's create the typography. Oh, I probably need a icon. Let's create the icon. I probably need the user image. Let's create that. The reason being, I will get to you why we should doing it in the beginning. Okay. Good question. All right. So if you do the normal way, okay. So normal way meaning, okay, like this. Okay. Whenever that you're creating, you see this, okay? It's like it's going over the frame. Okay. If you use a auto layout, make sure it is a fill. Okay. Oops, they have some problem in there. It should not be that. But here it should be not that. So it should be left. Should be a second. Let me fix that. There's some problem in there. By the way, I'll make a mistake here. So yeah, okay. All right. So if you see here, can you see that movement, right? Before it was like that, right? If we do not use the auto layout. Now, if we use the auto layout, can you see it's actually moving down? And it's actually have a boundary to whichever pattern that you have. Does that make sense? If you, without the auto layout, you have this. With auto layout, you will have this. And we want this kind of effect because we don't want like this, like no one can read that, like, especially on mobile, it's kind of hard to read. Okay, the reason why is that, for example, you have a color component, okay? Because this is like, for example, okay? Why don't I just doing like this, right? And then just create a component and that's it. This component cannot be usable at all because whenever I drag out in the design system, I got 3 of them instead of just 1 by 1. Plus, I cannot create this tree as a variant. This is why variant is organized by each component. So you have 5 components, you combine it to 1. You have 100 components, you combine it to 1. Does that make sense? So this is the reason why you need to create each specific and then combining it in the end. Per se that, hey, I want to create a new of this icon, but maybe the color is like red, okay? Maybe this, okay? Let's just detach that one, right? I want to add it in here. How do I do it? It's very easy. Just need to create again, new component, right? Red, and just dragging in. And you have an add-on of red version of, what's it, messaging. This is how you add on things to the variant. So now you have red variant in your icon design system, icon component.
Can you show how to do that again? Add on a new component.
Oh, yeah. So per se that you have you want to add this, right? This guy with the color of green, for example, right? To do that, again, you're going to create new component, okay? Easy way, just dragging into the same box of this icon. And you can name this one as green. Now, when you access it, you can have a green. This is often happen to me, even though I'm doing this like almost every day. Per se that I want to have this, okay? So let's create a Japan flag, okay? All right, so I create this a component, right? And all of a sudden my project manager say, oh, no, Evan, you cannot have this anywhere. You cannot have Japan flag anywhere. You need to create maybe a Poland flag. All right. So what you can do, but everyone already using this in all their file. You don't want to create a new component and say, hey, I make a mistake. So what you can do is you fix it. The way you fix it, you cannot delete this frame 6 at all, or like this Japan at all. You're going to fix it like this. Can you see that? What's going on the side over here? And you have Poland flag. For example, you don't want this. Another example. Hey, I don't want this love. I want to have this, for example, this bracket over here. Okay, I don't want the love. I need to delete. I want to have this one. So you cannot delete this love one, but you can do like this. Delete the inside of it, the heart, right? You still have the heart. Paste it. You see just happen? Is that answering your question?
Oh, cool.
But the key is once you lock down your design system per se this, and you want to make a fix of it, you're gonna fix it in there. And that's a must rule, basically. Otherwise, if for example, hey, I want to create the Japan again, but I don't want to fix this one. And then you're creating a new flag of Japan in here, and then you're naming it Japan. No one, this thing will not change. You see what I mean? No one gonna translate it. That's not gonna translate to this guy. Does that make sense? Good question, by the way.
Okay, so to change a component, you just fix it in the original box that it's framed in.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. That depends on the company to company. If you are, for example, in Expedia, we use spacing 4 or 8. So we're starting from the 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, up to I think like 48 or something like that. But if I may suggest you, were you here last week? Because last week they have a good session about how to choose the spacing, why we choose the spacing and so on. Because that's another lesson, by the way, for the spacing wise. So this is why Iterate UX is really good, guys. You gotta come in here every week because it's continuation, building on top of the other. If you have a theme, Figma theme, so if you create a theme, okay, you can transfer all of those components within the theme or within that library. To do that, it's you just need to change the library. Click on this guy, library,
Okay. So I can have multiple design systems to use across my projects.
Exactly. This is why
Okay.
design system exists. So you can reuse what already being built, what already being approved within your company, within your project, and so on. So you don't need to repeat again. Okay, tell you guys this, I'm lazy. So I do not want to make myself work too hard. So this is why design system is really suitable for me.
Okay.
So I do not repeat myself. Yep. So like I said just now, why we use the spacing component is because, for example, later on in your company say, hey, the minimum spacing is not 8 anymore, it's a 12. But you already have like 10 or like 15 project have 8, all of them. You just need to update one thing to the 12, right? So now everything that used 8 before, it will become 12. So now you can see that it should be there, but you gotta reset that one. It's off right. I was doing off writing there, but you can see that one. Yeah.
Oh, I think it makes sense now. Like you change like every other components too, instead of just one.
Exactly.
I got it. Thank you.
User testing is what you do when you, for example, you have this frame, you want to see if this viable or not to be using. And for example, user cannot find this home button, right? So you're going to go back to your drawing board and then you're going to fix it. You're going to fix it, maybe put it in here. But design system itself, it doesn't have any like that type of user testing per se, because design system is all pure UI. Does that make sense? You may test the variant, you may test the variant to your colleague who are using the same design system, see if that makes sense. If that doesn't make sense, you can do something else. I'll show you guys something. One rule. I want you guys to do this. When you already create design system, never do right click, detach. If you do that, you're gonna get taxed. Okay? Never do that. Never do that. It's like if you detach it, it's mean whatever the changes that they have in your design system, it won't translate to yours. I'll show you guys this. This is very neat, very neat trick in design system. You guys know about the light and dark mode, correct? Right? Okay. So per se that you have to, this is a screen, this is not a screen. You want to have a dark mode. So same thing again. You have to create a multiple component. Make this one as light mode and this one is dark mode. Light, dark. Yeah, and then you create this one as variant. Again, this is kind of like painful. You only have 2 things. You want a dark mode or light mode. One thing you can do, you can say this one as a no or off, or you can this one as a yes. So what it does is actually making it as a toggle. You see what I'm doing? So this is very neat if you have like, hey, do I want dark mode, light mode? Yes or no kind of question. You can just do it like that. Most likely the answer is yes. We usually like if you are already creating a component, it's being, especially in the bigger company or like medium to big company, your PM probably is already agreed upon the rules, agreed upon the layout, agreed upon everything. Even your CEO say, yeah, this is look good already, for example. Your developer have to mimic it to 100%. But most of the case, your PM will creating a clown version of it, which that's your job to highlight the, hey, this is not look right. You're going to fix it, because that's usually what developer does. I mean, no offense, I was a developer and I was just wanted to be done, but that's usually the case. They don't really pay attention of the spacing. They don't really pay attention of the size and so on. That is your job to make sure it's similar enough to what you have in the prototype Figma or your design. Yes, they do. There are some cases, for example, hey, dark mode is not possible. We don't have technology to do that just yet. So what you can do, okay, so if there is dark mode is not possible, let's just delete the dark mode for now, just making it for later on. So now you're going to stick with the light mode. Or hi, you cannot really deal that way. Oh, come on, Evan. You shouldn't apply that to the others. But you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm doing just now? Dark mode is not available just yet. So you go back to your design system, revert it back to all the light mode. So whatever that you do in the dark mode, it won't do anything because your technology is not there yet. In my knowledge, no. I mean, like you're going to design it. You're going to, I think if you are doing the website, I think they have a plugin for it and they can create the HTML for you. I don't think in the app they do have that kind of thing. In my knowledge, I don't know if that's possible.
Okay.
But in the website, they do have a quick HTML thing for you to do. Benefit of using Figma, number one is free. So no, it's free. Figma is free, and then Figma can show you the CSS like what Corey just said, and then also the Figma can, what was that? They have variant, they have a component, and easy to access. It's very mimicking to what Sketch does, but Sketch is not free. And Figma is collaborative. So you can actually collab with a lot of people. You can see all that mouse when I was starting, you guys were there, you can collab actually if I give you guys the edit function, but I did not because I want to present that one. Next week though, you will have that edit function.
Thank you, Evan.
Thank you. Thanks, Iwan.
Thanks, Evan.
Mhm.
Thanks, Evan.
See you, my friend.